Hello student. Today we talk about endocrine system part 2nd. We already discussed the endocrine system part 1st. In previous lecture or previous slide we discussed about the hormone gland, mechanism of action of hormone and the glands like a pituitary gland, thyroid and the parathyroid gland. Now today we discuss about the adrenal gland, pancreas, thymus and the pineal gland. First is the adrenal gland. Adrenal glands are the two triangular shaped organs that measure about 1.5 inches in height and 3 inches in length, and they are located on the top of each kidney, and their name directly relates to their location. Ad means near or at range means kidney. And each adrenal gland is comprised of two distinct structures, the outer and the inner. In the outer part of the adrenal gland is called adrenal cortex, and the inner region is known as adrenal medulla. Now, first is the adrenal cortex. The adrenal cortex is divided into three zones. First is the zona glomerulosa, second one is the fasciculata, and the third one is the reticularis. Uh, in this layer, the zones are common for all. So, if you want to remember, the formula for remembering layer is the GFR. G means glomerulosa, fasciculata, and the reticularis. So, they are very easy to remember these things. So, in the zona glomerulosa, that is the outermost zone of the adrenal cortex, we secrete mineralocorticoids, and the zona is the middle zone and secrete glucocorticoids, and the zona reticularis is the innermost zone and it secrete glucocorticoids and the adrenal androgen, but in very small quantity. Now in the adrenal medulla. Adrenal medulla is the inner part of the adrenal gland, and it controls the hormone that initiate the flight or the fight response. And the main hormones secreted by the adrenal medulla include epinephrine and the norepinephrine, and which have very same functions. So the hormone secreted from the adrenal medulla is first of all, it's like adrenal cortex. The adrenal medulla does not perform any vital functions. That is, you don't need to live. But that hardly means the adrenal medulla is useless. And the hormones of the adrenal medulla are released after the sympathetic nervous system is stimulated, which occurs when you are stressed. As such, the adrenal medulla helps to deal with the physical and emotional stress. You can learn uh, also in the sympathetic nervous system. We already discussed about these things. So we are very familiar with the fight or flight responses, and the process initiated by the sympathetic nervous system when our body encounter a threatening, stressful situation, and these hormones of the adrenal medulla contribute to response. Uh, the hormones secreted by the adrenal medulla. The first is the epinephrine, and the second one is the norepinephrine. The epinephrine, most people know epinephrine by its name adrenaline. This hormone rapidly responds to the stress by increasing heart rate and rushing blood to the muscles and the brain, and it also spikes the blood sugar level by helping convert glycogen to glucose in the liver. Non-epinephrine is also known as noradrenaline, and these hormones work with epinephrine in responding to stress like vasoconstrictions, narrowing the blood vessels, etc. So in adrenal medulla, in adrenal cortex hormone, there are mineralocorticoids and the glucocorticoids. In the mineralocorticoids, this release of glucocorticoids, it's triggered by the hypothalamus and the pituitary gland, and the mineralocorticoids are the mediated by the signal triggered by the kidney. And when the hypothalamus produces CRH, means corticotropic releasing hormone, it stimulates the pituitary gland to release adrenal corticotropic hormone, and these hormones turn allow the adrenal gland to produce corticosteroids hormone. Next is the disorder and disease of the adrenal gland. So there are the multiple reasons why the adrenal glands might or not work as they should, and the problem could be the adrenal gland itself, or the root cause may be due to defect in the another gland. So there are a number of diseases of the adrenal gland. The first is the Addison's disease, uh, Cushing syndromes. So in the Cushing syndromes, it's an uncommon condition that is essentially the opposite to Addison's disease, and it is caused by the overproduction of the hormone cortisol. There are variety of the causes of this disorder, like a tumor in the adrenal gland or or pituitary gland could be a blame. So in this figure, we clearly see the personality changes: red face, fat deposition, buffalo hump, and in the female, amenorrhea, hirsutism, thin skin, bruishes, CNS irritability, the round moon face. And this disorder is the hypocortisolism, and it is occurred due to the high level of hormone cortisol. And their symptom is weight gain, fat deposit, upper back purple, stretch marks, thinning skin injuries, and slow to heal acne, fatigue, and the muscle weakness. And the next is the Addison's disease. It is also known as the primary adrenal insufficiency and the hypocortisolism. It is a long-term endocrine disorder in which the adrenal glands do not produce enough steroid hormone. Symptoms generally come on slowly and may include abdominal pain, weakness, weight loss, skin changes, etc. Okay, the next is the pancreas. So the definition of pancreas is the pan means all and the creas means the flesh. The pancreas is a gland that is partially exocrine and the partially endocrine. We already discussed in our first slide. They secrete. They act as a endocrine or exocrine due to their functions. Like in exocrine, its part secrete digestive pancreatic juice, and the endocrine part secrete hormone like insulin, etc. And it is a very soft and lobulated and elongated organ. And their location is it lies on less transversely across the posterior abdominal wall and the level of first and second lumbar vertebra. Its shape it resembles like J shape and retort shape, or the ball of the retort represents its head, stem, and retort, its neck, body, and the tail. It is about 15 to 20 centimeter long and 2.5 to 3.8 centimeter broad and 1.2 to 1.8 centimeter thick, and the weigh about according to 90 gram, approx 90 gram. So the next is the pancreatic hormones, the hormones secreted by the pancreas. So the pancreatic islets each contain four varieties of cells. The first one is alpha cell, beta cell, delta cell, and the PP cell. The alpha cell produces the hormone glucagon. And the function of glucagon is play an important role in the blood glucose regulation. Low blood glucose level stimulate its release. And the next one is a beta cell. It produces insulin hormone. So the insulin function is the elevated blood glucose level stimulate the release of insulin. And the function of the beta cell is, and the delta cells account for 4% of the isolates and the secret peptide hormone somatostatin, and it also released by the hypothalamus and the stomach and intestine also secreted. And inhibiting hormone like a pancreatic somatostatin inhibit the release of both glucagon and the insulin. And the PP cells account for about 1% of islet cell and secrete the pancreatic polypeptide hormone. And its function is to play a role in appetite as well as in the regulation of the pancreatic exocrine and the endocrine secretion. And it's also reduce further food consumptions and also release in response to fasting. So there are a number of disorder of the pancreatic disorders, like first is the diabetes mellitus. It is a dysfunction of insulin production, or the secretion of insulin production is not proper way. So the as well as the target cell responsiveness to insulin can lead to condition called diabetes mellitus. Yeah, it is very increasingly common disease. Diabetes mellitus have been diagnosed in more than 18 million adults in United States and more than 2 lakh children, and it is estimated that up to 7 millions more adults have the condition but have not been diagnosed. So there are two main form of diabetes mellitus: diabetes first and the diabetes second, or type 1 diabetes and the type 2 diabetes. In the type 1 diabetes, it is an autoimmune disease affecting the beta cell of pancreas, and the certain genes are recognized to increase susceptibility, and the beta cell of people with type 1 diabetes do not produce insulin. Thus the synthetic insulin must be administered by the injection or infusion, and this form of diabetes accounts for less than 5% to all of the diabetes cases. And in the type 2 diabetes, it is approximately 95% of all cases, and it is acquired, and lifestyle factors such as poor diet, inactivity, and the presence of pre-diabetes greatly increase a person's risk. And about 80 to 90% of people with type 2 diabetes are the overweight or obese. So in type 2 diabetes, cell become resistant to the effect of insulin, and the pancreas increases its insulin secretion, but over time the beta cell become exhaust. In many cases, type 2 diabetes can be reversed by a moderate weight loss, regular physical activity, and the consumption of healthy diet. However, if blood glucose level cannot be controlled, the diabetic will eventually require insulin. And other disease is pancreatitis. So it is a disease which occur our pancreas become inflamed, and the pancreas is a large gland behind our stomach and next to small intestine. And pancreas does two main things: it releases powerful digestive enzymes in our small intestine to have the digestion, release insulin, glucagon. And the pancreatitis is also form of two types, like acute and the chronic. In the acute pancreatitis is a sudden inflammation, and it's a last a short time, and the chronic pancreatitis is a long lasting inflammation. So the next one is a thymus gland. The thymus gland is a small organ behind the breastbone that their function is the both immune system and the endocrine system. Though the thymus begin atrophy, means decay during puberty, it affect in training T lymphocyte to fight infection and even cancer lasts for a lifetime. And the hormone secreted by the thymus is the thymosin, and the thymosin is a hormone necessary for T cell development and the production. And the thymus is a special in that, unlike most organ, it is the largest in children. Once you reach puberty, the thymus start to slowly shrink and become replaced by a fat. Their disorder is the myasthenia gravis. It is a disorder which is a most common thymus disease. Pure red cell aplasia and the hypogammaglobulinemia according to NLM. Myasthenia gravis occur when the thymus is abnormally large and produce antibodies that block or destroy the muscle receptor sites. So, in the myasthenia gravis is a long-term neuromuscular disease that leads to a variety of degree of the skeletal muscles weakness. And the most commonly affected muscles are those of the eye, face, and swallowing. It can result in the double vision, drooping eyelids, trouble talking, and trouble walking. Onset can be sudden. The next one is the pineal gland. The pineal gland is a small pea-shaped gland in the brain. Its function is not fully understood, but researchers also know that it produces or regulates some hormones, including melatonin. It is the best known for the role it's play in the regulating sleep patterns, and the sleep pattern also called the circadian rhythms. And the hormone secreted by the pineal gland melatonin, and the melatonin is a serotonin derived hormone which modulates sleep pattern in both circadian and the seasonal cycles. So their disorder is clinically its significance has been approved. The abnormal pineal gland function may result in many problems, like the dysfunction of the pineal gland produces less melatonin secretions, which may result in the insomnia, abnormal thyroid function, and anxiety, and the menopause. So thank you so much.